Hey everybody, it's Katie, and today I want to talk about repressed or unexpressed emotions as a driver for alcohol dependence. And I want to talk about this today just based on my own experience and the more insights I'm gaining now that I'm becoming more alcohol-free thanks to the Sinclair Method and a lot of inner work I'm doing on myself. So the two unexpressed emotions I want to talk about today that I'm relating back to my own personal experience are repressed anger and repressed creativity. And I want to first start by mentioning this book, which is a resource I've used for years and find it to be incredibly helpful. It's called The Life You Were Born to Live, A Guide to Finding Your Life Purpose. It's by Dan Millman. He wrote The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, which was a book and a movie. Now the title might seem kind of hokey to some people, but I just invite you to have an open mind because this book has been an incredible resource for me over the course of many years as I've really been trying to develop myself more and understand myself more. I find it to be incredibly accurate, and how it works basically is he has a life calculator that you can use in the book here or online, and it basically, you put in your birth date and information, and it provides you with a set of numbers that are a set of life path experiences that can happen for a person and what your true purpose or calling might be. And it kind of talks about it in, if someone's living their best potential and living their best life, this is what it could look like, this is what it would take to make them thrive. And then on the opposite end, if someone is sabotaging themselves and not living their best life possible, then this is how it could go. First, I want to touch on unexpressed anger. Now for me in my life, I've been someone who's always been afraid of the emotion anger. Talk about anger. The guy just turned on like the tree trimmer next door. I've kind of perceived it as a bad emotion, that I shouldn't feel it, and if I did feel it, I'd want it to go away as soon as possible. I didn't know how to express it in a healthy, conscious way. Now, I think I was afraid of it because growing up, I saw people in my life express anger in an unconscious way where it was hurtful toward other people or toward themselves, and so I perceived it as this really bad thing. But over the course of the past couple of years, I've really begun to understand that anger is a really healthy emotion, and it can be expressed in a way that's conscious and open and coming from a loving place, and you're just using the feeling of anger as a driver to express what you're feeling, express what you're thinking, and ensure that you stay in line with your own integrity and what you believe and want to do. But so what was happening for me, because for so long I perceived anger to be this bad thing, I so often would not express anger, and I would lean on alcohol to kind of numb out that feeling of anger and just kind of cover it up and never really deal with it. I'm someone who's always really wanted to be liked and, not rock the boat, and so I went for years, like pretty much my whole adolescence, early 20s life, of just not saying things that I felt, going along with things when it was against my own integrity, just so that I wouldn't have to feel or express that emotion of anger. But as I mentioned, there are ways to do it consciously from an open place where you're looking for a resolution, and just understanding that your voice is incredibly important and expressing anger is valuable and really sets boundaries for yourself and for others to know where you stand. And so that's been something I have been working on lately, is really getting in tune with myself to be able to express anger before it can become buried inside me. And the way that I've been doing that more lately is just in the moment. If I don't agree with something, if someone says something that rubs me the wrong way or is asking me to do something that's out of my own integrity, it's about speaking up right then in that moment and not allowing it to kind of build up and fester inside even more. And I feel like this is something that I have been able to do more readily, especially as of lately, the past 6 months or so, because alcohol was always keeping this kind of fog on me. And I was not only afraid of anger, but I was not confident in myself, didn't believe in myself, because alcohol kind of kept my confidence really, really low. And so it's been a learning experience. I've had to kind of toddle along and practice and be really scared when I'm talking to someone on the phone saying that, speaking my truth, whereas before before I wouldn't do it. But now that I've been practicing it more and really getting these fiery, burning emotions out, it's really helping me to lead my best life possible by setting these boundaries in a way that's, you know, it's loving, but it's also expressing my own needs as an individual with my own individual life and purpose to live. So yeah, just been reflecting on how for so long I was afraid of anger and afraid to really express it, and so used alcohol just to continue to numb it out. And in my experience, I feel like it manifested in a lot of health issues. I'm only in my early 30s, and I've had a lot of obstacles with health over the course of my life, and I really feel like it's attributed to, at least partially, to this repressed anger that I have not let come out inside me. Now, another thing with anger, of course, we're not going to be able to express it every single time it comes out. There's going to be times where maybe we're not in tune with our anger, or we don't feel comfortable expressing it. And another way for me that I really feel like I've allowed this anger to kind of release is through physical exercise or dance. Dance especially has been a big one for me because you know, you can do it in a really kind of free-form, conscious way where you can get in tune with these emotions that are repressed within you and kind of invite them to the surface and move them out through your body. That's been something that's been really healing for me. So that's repressed anger and kind of how I've been working to release it and identify it and not be afraid of it. Just understanding that anger is a healthy emotion. We have it for a reason. There's no need to be afraid of it. And especially when you can finesse it and be able to express it in a way that is conscious and expressive and productive, that emotion can really serve you, and it's okay to express it. There are so many books available that can help you get in tune with your anger. The one in particular that really opened up my mind about feeling anger from a conscious, productive place is this one. It's called The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership, A New Paradigm for Sustainable Success. I actually read this book and took a leadership course at my one of the jobs I previously had. And it has a section in there about feeling all your feelings, and it really goes into being able to feel and express these uncomfortable emotions in a conscious place. So definitely check out this book, but there are loads of other books. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is repressed creativity, and that's something that has come up in this book for my life path a lot because, again, I'm someone who's born as like a really creative individual. I thrive when I'm able to create, whether I'm, you know, cooking, creating, making art, whatever. I'm thriving in the creative environment. And what it says in this book and what I found to be true in my own life is when I'm not expressing myself creatively every single day, it can turn into sabotaging behaviors like addiction or self-sabotage or distractions. And so when I was numbed out on alcohol for so long, it was really hard for me to express myself creatively. I knew I would thrive when I'm creative, but again, that addiction was just driving me to drink. I was masking emotions, wanting to just numb out because I was so unexpressed. And so my creativity, rather than being expressed outwardly in productive, helpful, beautiful ways, it kind of imploded inwardly. And I was self-sabotaging and destroying myself and not allowing myself to be creative. It felt like there was this massive block where even if I wanted to be creative, I couldn't because the addiction was there kind of holding me down, and the alcohol fog was there holding me down every single day. So it's really been this this kind of like subtle dance and experience of me tapping back into that creativity. And now that I've been, you know, not drinking for many months and feeling really clear, I'm more readily and easily able to access that creative side of myself. But it was really interesting kind of picking up this book again because I haven't read it in probably like a year, but just again reading in here about you know, me as a creative individual, and if it's unexpressed, I can lean on and fall into addictions, which is exactly what happened with the alcohol addiction. And now that I'm coming out of it, I can use more of the thriving life path principles in here to allow myself to understand how it is that I need to be in order to live my best life and be my best self now that alcohol is removed. So I hope this video was helpful. I appreciate you for watching. I'm always curious to hear from people if you've had experiences you'd like to share about learning to feel and express your own anger or your own creativity or other emotions as you've navigated through alcohol dependence. Please put the comments below, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe too. Okay, bye everyone.